I have on the phone all the way from... Are you in Wales today?
I'm not. I'm in London.
Oh, lovely London. Okay, well, it's the beautiful Betsy. Now, Betsy, one thing I want to ask you straight off, if you don't mind, is your image is probably one of the most striking images I have seen. But is this because of your involvement in fashion and things like that? Is that where, and your design, is that where the whole thing comes from?
Well, I think it must be. I mean, it's actually a mix because not where I'm from, but my mother's family are very sort of glamorous Valleys women. So they were my main inspiration as a child and things, sort of growing up and wanting to be glamorous because of them, because they'd had these long nails and they'd be dressed in fake fur and wear loads of jewellery and very over the top. So a lot of it comes from that. And then also, yes, my fashion side of things, when I worked in Balenciaga and went to school in St. Martin's, all of that has, helped and gone into what I am now.
Now, I must admit, the whole image thing is fascinating, but the voice, I mean, you are a singer-songwriter. You got an album. The album's just out, isn't it?
It is just now, like really recently, last week or something. So, yeah.
It's entitled Betsy.
Yes.
Easy to remember. But where do you get your inspiration from when you want to sit down and you write? I mean, there's a wonderful story about you writing in your brother's caravan, your first tracks.
Yeah. So things like Lost and Found, Wanted More, a couple of the others were all written there, and they're the songs that I got that led me to getting my record deal. And yeah, that was because I had no money, and I'd met my managers, and they gave me 500 quid and said, go and write. And I'd never really written before properly, Yeah. So it was a bit of a stab in the dark for them. But luckily, some songs came out of it. But the inspiration behind all of it is normally it's just like things that have happened to me, people I've met, experiences I've had, and then I kind of sit down and they sort of come out of my mouth and then we're away.
Now you started singing at a very early age, I understand, and was that possibly due to your dad and the influence he may have had on you?
Yeah, I mean, my dad and my uncle were in a band together, so my earliest memories are, seeing them singing around campfires or playing piano or that kind of thing. So that was, obviously something that inspired me very early on. But I never sang professionally until recently. It was always kind of just school plays or school bands, that sort of thing.
Now, is it true that your mum, I think it was, decided that you needed to have a proper job, as they say, and you couldn't do singing, so you had to go and do design? Is that right?
Well, it's kind of, yeah. You have to understand, where I'm from is sort of, takes me 5 or 6 hours to get there from London. It's the middle of nowhere. And I'm from a goose farm, and there aren't a lot of, that you certainly can't make money out of being a musician where I'm from. And at the time, I was probably quite shit. So, oh no, I can't say that.
Don't worry, we'll edit that bit out. It's all right.
At the time, I was probably not very good. So my mum was quite keen for me to have, a job. And that's what led me into fashion, really. But also the idea that if I went and studied fashion, I'd be in London. So I could meet musicians and maybe have a better chance at doing music. But that never happened. So I just ended up working in fashion instead.
And you got, I mean, I when I first heard about you, I thought, oh my God, looking at her, she must be a model. She must have been a model on the catwalk, with the whole look and things like that. But you went actually into design with one of the top Paris fashion houses. Yeah,
I was a designer at Balenciaga. Never a model, sadly, not skinny enough for that. You've got to be very, very damn skinny to be a model. But yeah, so I was actually designing for the catwalk shows, which was really hectic. But yeah, it was exciting, but very hectic.
And then you decided to come back to the UK and just chuck it all and go for the singing bit.
Well, that was it, chuck it all, because I just felt I didn't want to regret it. And I thought, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. Even though I had this wonderful job, I just thought, you know, I've always wanted to be a musician and I've got to try. So that's what ended me up in a caravan.
Yeah, and you actually used that caravan in one of the publicity shots.
Yeah, they're in all of my early pack shots. Yeah, so for the first couple of songs, all the press shots are in the caravan or outside the caravan or in a blow up pool outside the caravan, as you do.
As you do, yes. Is that where the whole sort of I know it's something I think you penned it yourself. Trashy opulence comes from.
I think I might have panned it. Yeah, exactly. So again, going back to kind of my grandmothers and my aunts as well, it's this kind of mix of my two worlds: the very high fashion world, and then obviously living in a caravan or being from a farm. So that kind of two parts of my life and my personality, I suppose. So that's why it's opulence, but it's trashy as well.
I mean, once again, I've got to go back to the image. The image of you stood in the doorway of the caravan in a beautiful white suit, and everything around it is all sort of covered in mould. It is trashy opulence, isn't it? It's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I love that. I love that mix of the two. It's too much to go all out glam.
Do you still go back to the caravan to write?
No, I don't actually. They knocked it down.
Oh no!
Yeah, it'd been there for years and years and years, and was really decrepit. It was all falling apart. So, I mean, I don't know how I managed to live in there. To be honest, it was pretty rough. But so they knocked it down. Sadly, I should have bought it and rebuilt it in my garden or something.
Yeah, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? You could, have it as your little sort of summer house or something.
Yeah, no, but it's gone.
Now, at the moment, I believe you're on tour, or you're just about to start tour.
I'm just about to start, yeah. So in November, I go on tour, yeah.
Are you looking forward to that?
I am. I'm really excited. I mean, the last tour I did was really great because it was the first time that I had audiences. Well, I had audiences, starters, and having people come along and sing along to the songs and things. So that was mad. So I'm really looking forward to that this time as well.
I interviewed somebody a little while ago, and they said one of the most powerful emotions, one of the strongest feelings you can get, one of the best drugs, is when you've got a room full of people singing your song. Is that true? Do you feel that way?
It's just so bizarre. It's incredible. It's incredible because that makes it real for you. Do you know what I mean? That makes you realise that you've sort of accomplished a part of what you've always wanted to accomplish, and that it's become part of other people's lives. Because all of my favourite singers and things, their songs are part of my life and mark points in my life and things. And for your music to go on and be that for someone else is well, it's an honour, but it's quite strange.
Now, if I'm right, you first sort of had a break, is that the right word, in 2014, singing on somebody else's track?
I had, yeah. One of my all-time favourite producers, Joe Goddard, from Hot Chip. So I sang on, he sent me a track that he'd done to write a top line for, which I did, and then I went in to produce the track with him and said, I've got this other song. So he took that song and turned it into what it is now, and yeah, really exciting. So that was a treat.
And then when you now go into the studio, I mean, obviously you've written the song, you've got an idea as to how you want it to sound. When you're writing it, obviously, you sort of get a feeling for the song. When you go in, do you sort of find, I don't really want to give this over to a producer because he might not feel the same as I do? Or are you quite happy to get somebody else's feeling on a song?
I'm happy because quite often with me, because I write all the, I sit down, I don't just write it piano and song. I tend to write the string parts and put in a rough idea as to, all the synth parts and all of that. So you can hear what it's going to sound like. So for me, it's quite exciting to give it to someone and to know that they've got the skills to really, you know, make it sound incredible. So for me, I don't mind that at all. And if they don't make it how I like it, I tell them so anyway.
That was my next question.
Yeah, no, I don't hold back. I'm pretty ruthless. But I think, you know, I appreciate that from other people when they're giving me comments about my writing and stuff. So I like it. You've got to be straightforward.
Do you find that writing is something which comes natural to you? You know, you're able just to pick lyrics and things like that out of the air, or do you have to sit there and really concentrate and think, oh, how does it work?
It's quite hard. I do have to concentrate, but also it is something that does come naturally to me. Like it does sort of come out of the air that I write. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I have to do a load of research and think of a title. It's not sort of contrived. I just kind of write. But of course, it is a damn difficult thing to do.
It's something I couldn't do.
And let me tell you, I have written a lot of rubbish. So they're not all winners.
I know that, you know, that there are certain famous songwriters that have written the lyrics to massive hits on the back of cigarette packets because they were going somewhere and thought, oh, I like that. Yeah, I'm going to write that down. And
yeah.
Is it like that with you? Or, you know, as you say, do you have to fight for it?
Sometimes but it's mostly things come to me, because for me it's that I've got something inside my head that I probably don't necessarily know I want to talk about anyway. Mm-hmm. And then it just sort of comes out, and then the song tends to write itself. You know, if I'm having some kind of inside trauma that I haven't recognized, it'll come out, and then I'll be like, so I'm writing this song about that person or that event, and obviously that's upsetting me. So it's a bit of a form of therapy, and it does just, when a song's right with me, it does just come, you know?
Yeah. So how much of you is
matter of an hour or so?
How much of you is actually in those songs?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
It's all in there. I mean, a lot of it's 100% written by me anyway. So, you know, there's nothing in there that's anyone else in those ones. And then obviously the co-writes. With the co-writes, I tend to just write the top lines and the lyrics and everything myself. So when I have a partner to write with, they tend to do the music side of things, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's all my personal events in life. God, just laid there. Ooh.
So how did you find working in the studio on the album? I mean, that must have taken quite a bit of time, and you have to be very, you have to really be quite controlled with your time and also with how you work. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I did. I mean, as you say, it does take a lot of time. That is the writing's the quick part. The production is quite lengthy, which is sometimes frustrating, especially when you write the songs so quickly, you know, and you're so excited to hear them finish. Mm. But for me, it was, I mean, the most amazing part of the production was going in with as an orchestra who played all the strings, and then you have like, you know, we had the pianist from Jamiroquai come in and play piano. You know, all these very talented musicians, and that part is absolutely incredible. I mean, the strings, I was crying. You can imagine. Just the strings alone for the album. I would buy the album just for the strings only.
I was going to say that. What was it like working with a full orchestra? You know, having the whole 9 yards there with you. That must have been an awesome experience.
It was a moment where, you know, you feel like Elvis or something, because you're and all these people are these really world-class musicians, you know, are playing your songs that you wrote in a caravan. So it's very surreal, but it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, as I said, I did have a little cry.
I bet. Now, to get the album, it is available on Warner's, isn't it? Warner Brothers. It
is. So iTunes or Amazon, or where else are these things sold?
Local record shops.
Oh yes, HMV. Yeah.
So you can get it there. You can also get, I think you can get little samples of the tracks on there on your website, can't you?
You can, and you can also stream it on Spotify, obviously.
Brilliant.
You could listen to it on Spotify.
So the tour next month. Do you actually get down as far as Spain? You do, don't you?
Not in the tour, I don't think.
Oh, I thought you did. Never mind. Never mind.
No,
Next
sadly.
time.
I mean, I'd be overjoyed if I could come down to Spain, I can tell you. Have a nice little glass of wine, a bit of sun, some good food, sing a few songs.
Sounds like my life.
It's fine. I'm so jealous.
Do you ever hanker after the geese again?
Hanker after the geese. No, sadly, no. Lovely as they were. I mean, I miss the green and the countryside, but not
the geese.
No.
Okay, look, Betsy, it's been absolutely fabulous talking with you. All the best with the album, with the single, and also with the tour. And as I say, hopefully one day we'll get to see you down here.
Yeah, hope so.
All right, Betsy, thank you. Was that okay for you?
Yes. I'm really bad at these things.
Oh, I thought it was lovely. I really enjoyed it. What I'm going to do is edit that down and take out the shit and things. And what I'll do, if you would like a copy, is, I'll send one over to Joe, and you can have
brilliant. Please.
Okay, I'll do that. All the best for the future, and take care. See you soon, maybe.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.